All right, let's do some more quiz practice so you know what I'm looking for from the back side. Okay, so on number 3, I gave you a linear to linear function. I'm not this one, right? I'm going to do a similar one. So, and you say you're supposed, I said to graph it, to sketch it, and I gave you some axes there. And I think I was pretty careful to make sure that the numbers would fit, that it fit on those, the main points would fit in the axes. So you can draw it reasonably well. Okay, so how do you do that? So first thing you do is if the x on the bottom has a number next to it, you got to get it by itself. Because we want to write it in the form f of x is equal to ax plus b over x plus c. Okay, so here in mine it does, and in yours it does too, so we got to get rid of that. So we divide everything by 3, top and the bottom by 3. So our new f of x is equal to, let's see, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6x divided by 3 is 2x. 1 divided by 3, that's 1/3. 3x divided by 3 is x, that's the whole idea, then minus 2/3. Okay, so this is what we want to graph. So let's see. First, we know what you got to know what the two asymptotes are. And A is always the horizontal asymptote. So our A is equal to 2. That's the horizontal asymptote. And down here, C is the vertical asymptote, and it's 2/3. And again, the idea is that 2/3 minus 2/3 is equal to 0. So actually, C is negative 2/3. So the horizontal asymptote, sorry, the vertical asymptote then, it's not really C. C is negative 2/3, is 2/3. So C is negative 2/3, so I should just say 2/3 is equal to the vertical asymptote because that's where it blows up, right? And you don't need to memorize that or anything. It's just, oh, obviously, when x is 2/3, we're dividing by 0. So you can, when x is 2/3, this goes to infinity. That's why it's the vertical asymptote. So now we can do a rough sketch of it. First, we draw the asymptotes in. Horizontal is a equals 2, so let's say 2 is there, so it looks like this, horizontal. Then 2/3 is the vertical one, because at 2/3 it blows up. So if that's 2, this is 1, so 2/3 is like right there. So here are our asymptotes. Now you need 1 point, because we want to know, is it here and here, or is it here and here? Okay, we need to know, so we need to have a point. Typically the easiest point is when x equals 0. So when x equals 0 in mine, so when x equals 0, f of x is, let's see, 1/3 over negative 2/3. Multiply top and bottom by 3. That's just 1 over negative 2, or negative 1/2. So when x equals 0, y is negative 1/2. Let's see, x equals 0 is here, negative 1/2 is something like there. So that's a point. So I know that it must be in here, this quadrant, and this quadrant where the graph is. So now I do my best to connect some dots and make it look good. So at first I want it to be symmetrical about a line like 45 degrees there. So if one point's right here, the other one is maybe somewhere there. And then I'll do it in blue ink. It's living a little dangerously. So then it looks like this. It kind of gets closer and closer down there, and closer there. And then the exact same thing up here, so it looks like this. Oops, and I hit my asymptote here, which I'm not supposed to do, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so that's how you graph it. You need 1 point, and you just need to figure out the asymptotes. Then the last problem, okay, then number 4 says find a linear function whose graph has a horizontal asymptote. Okay, so number 4, horizontal asymptote means you know what A is. A is equal to 4. So, and then y equals 4. So that's A, and then passes through those points. So right away we know that our function looks like this. Y is A, which is 4x plus b divided by x plus c. We need to know b and c, which means you need to know two things, but you're given two things. You're given the point 0, 2 and the point 3, 1. So let me just get you started here. So let's do this first point. Y is 2 when x is 0. So you plug in 2 is equal to x is 0. That's just B, x is 0, C. That's the first equation. We have to have two equations and two unknowns. We have two things we don't know. We need two equations. The second one, you plug in x, y equals 1. So 1, y equals 1 is equal to 4, x equals 3 times that, divided by x is 3 now, so 3 plus c. So we have two equations and two unknowns, and now you do the algebra to figure out what b and c are, and then finally you plug that into this equation so you get a final linear to linear function where we know all the letters. So this is a lot of algebra. It's going to take, a page of paper, but it's not too bad. And then number 5 is exactly like 14.7. I already made a video on it. I just kind of changed the numbers. And you just have to remember that the horizontal asymptote is 100%, right? So you draw a line here at 100%, and your curve is going to go up like this, because supposedly it takes infinite amount of time to draw to get to 100%. But I already did a video on that, so you can watch that one to do number 5. Okay, hopefully that helps, and you're able to cruise through this quiz now.